Hey everybody, my wife's dog is going nuts. Uh, I want to appreciate everybody for coming in. I see Hooks and Hammocks. I see Chunky. I just want to get on here for a brief minute and talk. Uh, Guys, I'm hoping in the near future, I'm planning on getting a talk show going on Wednesday nights, either before or after Patriot James, because I don't want to interfere with Patriot James. Where we can have guests on. Uh, I do a lot of bank fishing. There's not a whole lot of information out there for the bank fishermen. So I want to get that knowledge out there and get a lot of the bank fishermen in so they can share different baits, techniques, different things that they're doing. And we can get that shared out and kind of have that information out there, uh, especially for the new people coming into the fishing sport. Uh, I want to be able to get as much knowledge out there as I can to help them and make sure that they have information to go off of. Hey, Dave. Hey, 351 Cleveland. Skip, Clearview Outdoors. How you doing? Uh, like I say, guys, I want to try and get this going in the near future. Wednesday nights, where I'll be able to have guests on and we can kind of talk and go over different techniques, different strategies. Hey, Bottom Peter's hooked up, uh, and kind of share information. Uh, we definitely want to share the information out there to where people have it. Hi, Lee. Uh, I know the fishing here has been really tough lately. Uh, Bait has been a big priority here. The shad have been hit and miss. Uh, Bluegill have been hard to find at times. Uh, I went out today early, caught some bluegill. Took some time. I got to the lake late, but I did catch some fish before the bite shut off. Uh, right here in my area of Oklahoma, usually the morning bite is good till probably about noon. Then it shuts off, and then late afternoon, 4 to 5 o'clock, it'll start picking back up till it gets dark. And you basically have two bite windows because once it gets dark, they're shutting down. But uh, the weather's warming up, temperatures are getting higher, and before long, the night fishing uh, will be coming into effect, and you will see some night fishing. Uh, I know we're getting close to the spawn. When they go on spawn, it'll basically kill the bite for about a month. But excuse me, after that, the bite will pick back up, uh, usually at night and early morning, and we'll try and get some of that footage out there. And but I just want to have a forum to where we can come in and I'll have other bank fishermen. I'll have guys that fish from the boats and kayaks and stuff in to share their information. Uh, Especially bank fishing, I want to focus on a lot because there's not a lot of information out there on bank fishing. What to look for, what spots produce, uh, things like that. The tackle we use, different rigs. Uh, like I just recently started the Santee rig and fishing using it from the bank. And today was the first day I actually caught a fish on the Santee rig. It does work. I do like it for the live bait, especially because, like the bluegill I was using today, if I would have put that on a straight Carolina rig, even with my leader on it, that bait tends to hug the bottom and it will hide in mud, grass, rock, whatever it's close to. It's going to try and find cover. With the Santee rig and the cigar float or uh, your demon dragon, with it floating it up off the bottom, it keeps that bait fish more active and it's swimming more. And that, I believe, increases your chance of getting that fish's attention and actually catching fish on it. Uh, little stuff like that. Uh, the spot I was fishing today, I know there's big fish in there. I know there's flatheads that go through there. It's a creek channel off the main lake that comes up through there, and it's got lots of standing timber and stuff in it. And it's not really that deep. It's shallow up towards the bank, but there is a deep channel. And hey, Circle Hook Productions, uh, I've got it there, and I fished this spot, and it's not going to always produce big fish. Uh, a lot of people don't understand your larger fish like that, uh, especially your flatheads. They may feed once every 3 to 4 days, and you've got to spend that time in that area on that body of water. Hey, Nick, in order to get onto those fish. Hey, Big Slim, uh, there is no 100% guarantees, guys. I know there's a lot of questions about bait. Uh, there is no fail proof. There is no magic bait or magic time that you can go out every single trip and know that you're going to catch fish and big fish. It doesn't work that way. You just have to put your time in on the water. If you want big fish, fish areas where you know big fish are at. Uh, you know, if they're not there, you can fish there all day, every day for 365 days. If there's not big fish in that body of water or in that area, you're not going to catch them. So try and do as much research as you can. Spend the time on the water and, you know, try and improve your chances and put all that knowledge to work, and it will eventually start coming together. Today was like that. Usual place, usual baits, nothing. Yeah, Circle Hook. I went to this place today. I went out this morning, tried to catch shad, didn't catch any shad. Caught me some live bluegill. And I went back to the same spot I was at the other day to get out of the wind because we had terrible wind. And it's a low spot behind a bridge. But like I say, it's got a creek channel that comes through there and it's got shallow water. Hey, Donald Weir. And I know the fish are in that area. The other day when I was there, the gar were in there real thick. And I was catching 4 foot gar. And it didn't matter. They were biting shad. They were biting cut shad, live shad, cut bluegill, live bluegill. It didn't matter what I did. I could not beat the gar off the hooks. Excuse me. And the catfish may have been in that area, but I couldn't keep the gar off of it long enough to let the bait sit. I even tried catching shad up around the bank there and caught some small gar in the cast net. And that's a gar is a cast net's worst enemy. You don't want them in your cast net. But I went back today to get out of the wind and tried it. And we were there about an hour and a half and caught 3, but all 3 were right at 5 to 6 pounds. They were blue cats, and they hit the live bluegill and the cut bluegill as well. And they were almost cookie cutter. And but I know there are big fish in that area. Not far from that same spot, I hooked up on 4 40-pounders just back to back to back to back one day. Uh, there are areas there that I know produce big fish, and I frequent those spots because I know they're there. It's just a matter of time. Uh, a lot of keys with fishing, guys, is timing and location. You got to be in a location where you know the fish are going to be. You get that from knowledge on the water, time spent, years past, other fishermen, other anglers. So you got to be where you know the fish are going to be. Uh, when they spawn, a lot of the times they pull up on the shallow flats to spawn. If they're getting ready to spawn, pre-spawn, and they're starting to pull up on the shallow flats, you can fish 30 and 40-foot holes all day long, and it's not going to produce the numbers. You need to be where the fish are. So that's where location comes in. And with the timing, it's time on the water. Uh, like I say, your big fish don't eat every day. Sometimes they may go 3 or 4 days and then come out and go on a feeding binge. So you have to be there when they're feeding, and you don't know when that is unless you're just there. So uh, try and spend the time on the water. Pay attention to your wind direction, your barometric pressure, and things like that, and start compiling notes. Make mental notes of what's going on, and you'll start to see a pattern where the catfish are at certain times. Uh, hey, 3+1, what their seasonal movements are, and where you need to move. Like on our lake, uh, shad is the main bait fish. Wind controls the plankton. The plankton controls where the shad are at. So if it's a north wind and the spot you were fishing on the south wind may not produce because them fish are following the bait fish and the bait fish are following the plankton. So always fish into the wind on these lakes and reservoirs. Uh, if there's natural bait fish in there, the wind controls the plankton. The bait fish come after the plankton and stuff. And the feeding fish, not all the fish, but the feeding fish will follow that bait fish. Uh, and that's what you want. You have to be on active feeding fish. Uh, Guys, you can go out in a boat with a depth finder and mark fish on bottom all day long. But if they are not actively feeding, it does not matter what you put down there or how long you sit down there. Till they become active and start to feed, you're not going to catch those fish. Notes are why I started my channel. I can look back at videos and see how things were. Yes, Nick. It helps tremendously, guys. Uh, don't just go to go. Pay attention. Uh, if y'all guys are familiar with my channel, when I go out, I share where I'm at, what bait I'm using, rigs I'm using. I share a lot of information. I even tell you the exact spot I'm at. Ricky's Fishing Adventures, welcome. I tell you exactly where I'm at, everything I'm doing, to where other people that watch my videos can come out to that same body of water and go to the areas I'm fishing at the same times, and they're going to be successful. I want other people to catch fish. It's not just about me catching fish. I want to help others improve their game and get them to where they can travel to different bodies of water. They know what to look for, what areas to target. Because, guys, a lot of these lakes have big areas. Not all these areas produce fish. There are what they call dead zones. And some places are just travel corridors that fish move through, going from one place to other. Like wintering holes when they stage in them. You can fish shallow water all you want in the winter. If they're not in the shallow water and they're in their wintering holes, you're wasting your time. You need to fish where the fish are. Learn these patterns. And that's what I'm hoping to do with this Wednesday night talk. Uh, I want to get it started here as soon as possible, but I want to get other anglers in as well and let them share their information and their knowledge. Uh, hey, snags and drags. Uh, the more knowledge we can get out there and the more information we share, the more successful everyone's going to be as an angler. Uh, Bait is a big key. It seems to be everyone's favorite topic. Down here, we don't have skipjack. I wish we had skipjack. I would love to catch the skipjack and use them for bait. Down here, we have shad. shad, bluegill. There's people that catch them on shrimp, night crawlers, crawdads, goldfish. Guys, there's lots of different baits. Chicken liver. I've seen people use chicken liver. There's lots of different baits out there. Uh, don't be afraid to try different things. Uh, there have been days when I've been out there uh, and night crawlers. Night crawlers may be the key bait, especially this time of the year where the creeks come up with the rain and it washes all that stuff out of the creeks. Night crawlers can be a deadly bait. When they won't touch nothing else, they'll hit the night crawlers. Skip, I'm in southern Oklahoma. I'm just north of the Texas state line. I'm about 45 minutes from Texas. Uh, and there's times I've been out there to where they didn't touch the shad or the bluegill or the night crawlers, but they would hit crawdads or they would hit punch bait or something similar to that. Don't be afraid to try different things, guys. If you know there's fish in that area, and you know that's where they're going to be at that time of the year, like springtime. Uh, this time of the year, we know they're going to pull up to the shallow flats. They're going to be looking for places to spawn. If you go and you're not getting bites and you're not catching fish, do not be afraid to change your bait up uh, because there's not a miracle bait. There's not a miracle rig. There's not a miracle technique, guys. The more you know, the better off you're going to be. Uh, simple stuff. I'm still learning myself. I learn new things. Uh, Muskrat Adventures, Roger, great guy. Uh, I have always used the no knot snail. But the other day I was watching him. Hi, Chrissy. And he showed the Doc Lang snail. Well, the other day when I went out, I tried the Doc Lang snail and used it on two of my rods when I re-rigged. And I like the no knot snail, but I like the Doc Lang snail too because the Doc Lang snail, uh, it will not let loose. Sometimes that no knot snail, if you get slack in the line, it releases tension on it. I've never had it fail me. I've never had a problem with it, but the possibility is there. So I went and started messing around and just tying this Doc Lang snail after I seen Roger do it. And guys, find something that works for you, but don't be afraid to make changes. Uh, I've never had the no knot snail fail me, but that doesn't mean there won't be a time when it does. This Doc Lang snail, I used it. It's worked great so far. Uh, don't be afraid to try different things, different knots. Uh, it's like a lot of my knots on my lines, not on my hook, but onto my swivels and stuff. I try a modified, improved clinch knot. I do it a little bit different than everybody else does. It does not make it any better than the others. It's just what I'm comfortable with. It gives me that extra added security of knowing when I hook into that big one, he's not coming off. Uh, my biggest deal, I hate to break a fish off because I would rather it just get completely off the hook and come unhooked than to break it off and have it swimming around with the hook in its mouth or getting it stuck in its gut and having to pass that hook out. Uh, that bothers me. I try and do everything I can to make sure that I do not leave a fish out there with the hook in it. I don't try and injure the fish. I want to make sure that that fish is healthy, alive, and put back so someone else can have the joy of catching it. Hey, Mad Catter. I'm big into CPR, guys. I don't keep anything over 10 pounds. Uh, I don't stock my freezer. When I'm ready to have fresh fish, I'll go out and I'll catch fish. If I don't catch fish, well, I'm not eating fish that night. I'll keep going until I get enough to have fresh fish. And Usually on mine, I like the 5 to 8 pound catfish for my eaters because I don't have to keep as many, uh, and I don't have to clean as many for a meal. I can keep a couple of those 5 to 8 pounders, and I've got enough fish for me and my wife, and I'm done. And fishing is a resource, guys. We've got to do our part to make sure it's there for future generations. Just because it's there, and pardon the expression, does not mean we need to go in and rape that resource. Uh, you don't have to keep everything you catch. Uh, if you want to eat fish, that's fine. Keep enough to eat. But there are no telling how many hundreds of pounds of fish that get wasted in freezers because guys stock them in there and they never eat them and they get freezer burnt and they end up throwing them out. What is your weight limit for keepers? Mad Catter, I will not keep anything over 10 pounds. Uh, yeah, anything 10 pounds or over goes back. A lot of guys don't understand this, guys. We're trying to get this information out there with CPR and get this knowledge out there. A lot of guys don't realize how long it takes that 20 or 30 pound fish to get that big. Uh, and a lot of people think all fish will get that big, and it's not. It's part of the genetics. It's just like deer. Uh, you have certain deer that have that genetics to grow bigger racks. Same thing with the fish. You have fish that have that genetics uh, to get the big size to them. And when you catch a 30 pound catfish, that excitement that you feel, that adrenaline rush, that self of accomplishment, guys, we want to preserve that and make sure that that's not just there for our kids, but for our grandchildren and their children. Uh, that's our responsibility. I believe we have a responsibility to protect this resource and make sure it's there for others. Um, I share information with people out on the lakes, the bodies of water that I'm at all the time. I give them tips, places I've been catching fish, what baits I'm using, uh, different stuff like that. And I get to talk with them and discuss the advantages of CPR. Because who does not want to go out and catch big fish? But if everyone keeps these big fish and they're constantly taking them out of the water, there's going to come a time when them big fish are not there for everyone to catch. And we've got to protect that. You cut off at 8 pounds, Mad Catter? Yeah. I won't take anything over 10. Uh, I very rarely keep fish, uh, my catfish, because uh, I only keep them when I'm ready to eat. I caught a 15-inch channel. Felt really bad when I dropped that fish because those are really good. Yeah. See, Nick, down here, our channels don't get that big. They're few and far between. If you catch a big channel down here, you've done something because we have a lot of flathead, a lot of blue cat. There's a lot of silver cat in the lakes, and they're all pretty dominant. So the channel cat kind of get kicked to the curb, and they have to feed when they can, on what they can, where they can, and they don't grow to that size. These 15, 20, and even 30 pound channel cats that people catch blows my mind because to me, I don't get to see them like that. Uh, like everyone, Lyle and all them are getting ready to go to Mendota, and there's big channel cats up there. Man, I would love to catch big channel cats like that, but they're just not in our bodies of water. Your boy Troy, hey, Kelly Bullock, welcome. JP3 Outdoors. Uh, but guys, we got to do what we can to protect our resources. Uh, Down here today, hey Jeremy, the bite was real funny. Normally, our blue cats will hit and just fold the rod over. They'll just slam it. But even these 5 and 6 pound blues today were pecking at it like a channel cat. And hey, 3+1, I actually thought they were small channel cat pecking because they played with it for a long time before they would actually commit. And instead of just leaving my rod in the rod holder like I normally do and letting them fold it over, hey, Epic, I would sit there and hold the rod. And when they'd pull slack, I'd actually pull back and put a little tension on that circle hook to set the hook. Hey, Rex, welcome. But this is the kind of stuff I want to share. And this is kind of why I want to get this talk show going on Wednesdays and get this information out there for everybody in different areas because there's bodies of water that I fish that certain things work well on that may not work well where other people are at. And there's not a whole lot of information out there for bank fishermen. And I want to try and get more information out there. Also, with bringing guests on and stuff, there's a lot of smaller channels in YouTube fishing community, our little family. And it'll give a chance to get these guys out there, get them noticed, get them more exposure, and help everyone grow. Because that's what we're all about, is helping everybody grow. Uh, Murray in South Carolina is a hidden secret. 50-pound blues are there and not uncommon. 10-pound channels are good. I would love to even catch a 10-pound channel. The tapping stuff is going on countrywide right now for some reason. Yeah, Tim, it kind of floored me because they pecked at it just like a channel cat, and it blew my mind because normally these blue cat and stuff, when they hit, there's no question. They just fold the rod over. There's no setting the hook. You don't have to reel down on them. They do it all themselves. All you have to do is put that bait in front of them, and they will slam it. And I love the huge takedowns. When they can take your rod and bring your rod tip down and almost touch the water, you know you got a good fish. And that takedown is really what gets me excited. So when they sit there and peck at it like that, it kind of throws me off. Yeah, Nick, the weather has a lot to do with it. The up and down, and we had so much rain that our lakes flooded. And the water come up, and then they opened the floodgates wide open. And I fished this place and was catching shad up in the shallow grass and went back not the next day, but the day after that, and they had already drained it completely down. Like you're talking dropping 3 to 4 foot a day. Uh, and the particular lakes I fish, I don't know, it may be the same where y'all fish, but when they're letting water out of the dams like that and they're draining them, it shuts the catfish bite off. I don't know what exactly it is about them letting that water out. It just kills everything. Uh, and vice versa, when it first starts to flood and that fresh water starts coming up that creeks, like our creek channel runs all the way through this lake, all the way to the dam. And when that fresh water starts coming in, it triggers those fish. And they will come from that dam in that creek channel all the way to where the creeks dump into the mouth of that lake at. And so it works both ways. If you can catch it when it's flooding, uh, especially up in the shallow grass and stuff, they come up in there and eat the insects and stuff. Uh, you can do some phenomenal fishing. But once they open those floodgates and start dropping the lakes, man, it shuts it off. It's non-existent. We are so dry right now. The Scary River is like late summer, dry conditions. Oh, I didn't know that, Tim. Hey, Dan's Creations. Yeah, we were really dry there, Tim, but it rained for almost a month straight here. Sometimes it was a slow rain, and sometimes we got good runoff. But it really helped the lakes. It finally filled the ponds back up, and it was nice. Later, Tim. Thanks for stopping in. Uh, but this is kind of some of the stuff I want to get out there and get shared with fellow anglers. And like I say, I'm hoping to get this kick started real soon. And I'm going to do it on Wednesdays, uh, either before or after Patriot James, because I don't want to interfere with him. I may do it after Patriot James, uh, and get this information and knowledge out there. Hey, Polar Bear, my home lake is 10 foot over summer pool right now. Yeah. See, 3+1, a lot of the lakes here around my house, they're not really good for catfish. They're bass, crappie, guy, walleye, stuff like that. I'm trying to get them to where they bring back the catfish fisheries because there's 4 city lakes and they used to be really good and they didn't take care of them for years and years, and the catfish population just got wiped out. Uh, so I'm trying to get them to start stocking them and take care of those lakes again, but they're up. Uh, some of the fishing docks were completely underwater, and now they're barely above the water. Maybe just one corner of them or something still in the water. Uh, but they are finally listening to the fishermen in this area. They're starting to take care of these lakes again. They're going to build new docks. They went in, built new bathrooms and stuff because they lost a lot of revenue. Uh, People were not going out there camping and stuff. They were not spending the time on the water because they want to take their kids out there places they can catch fish. Uh, if they're not catching fish in that lake, they're not going to camp there and stay there. And they finally understand this. They realize what revenue they've lost, and now they're trying to fix it. Hey, Brandon, Catfish and Dreams. Uh, but we'll try and get this going, guys, as soon as I can and get all this out there and share this information. And if y'all guys ever have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. I have no problem sharing information, uh, sharing people's channels, different things out. Uh, I try and keep everything out there for everybody. And I share as much information I can because I want you to be successful. Uh, to me, I get a great satisfaction if someone can go out to the body of water I was fishing, hit some of the places I showed them, and they catch fish. To me, that gives me satisfaction. And I appreciate everyone stopping in. I hope this channel continues to grow. I'm probably just going to do the talk shows on Wednesday nights from the same channel instead of creating a new channel. Hey, P City, thanks for stopping in. I'm going to contact some people, try and get them on as guests, and get them to share their different techniques, strategies, and information as well that they collect. And it will kind of give us a great common knowledge pool that everyone can pull from. I will talk with the boat fishermen and the kayak fishermen as well, but I'm probably going to focus mainly at first on the bank fishermen because there's just so much information that's not out there for the bank fishermen. Bank fishing, the information available is very limited. Uh, we've got a lot of guys overseas in the UK. I don't know if y'all guys have picked any of them up and started watching, but I've got to where I watch a lot of them because they bank fish a lot, but their techniques and stuff are different. Uh, their fish are different, but you can still learn different things. Some of the rigs that they use will work over here. And it kind of gives us a platform to where we can share knowledge. And we've got people from Australia, Africa, the UK, the United States. It's going everywhere. I mainly boat, but my roots is on the bank. Yeah, see, Brandon, I use boats a lot. I've jug line, I've trot line, I've noodled catfish, but I mainly just rod and reel on the bank now. My wife wants me to get another boat, and I probably will because any of you married men know that usually what the wife wants, the wife gets. It works out much easier that way. Uh, but I still want to do my bank fishing. I will take her out in the boat and stuff like that, but I don't want to get away from my bank fishing. To me, uh, kicking back on the bank is very relaxing. Uh, when I get to do my live streams out there, I get to interact with everybody. And to me, that makes my fishing trip that much better. Uh, it makes it more enjoyable to me. And I don't I don't mind going fishing with people. So if anyone's ever in my area and they want to go fishing, hit me up. I will be more than happy to take you out and go fishing with you and show you places on these lakes that I've learned over the years. Uh, Fishing is always better when you've got someone else there with you. Uh, if you catch a 40 pounder and you're all by yourself, you're pumped with adrenaline, woohoo. What are you going to do? High five the trees? Uh, about all you can do is take a picture, share it out. If you're lucky enough, you catch it on live. But it's great when you have other people there to share your experience and your excitement with. It makes everything much more enjoyable. Uh, Life is not a spectator sport, guys. Get out there and enjoy it. Happy husband rare. Yeah, P City, sometimes you have to make sacrifices. And if the wife's not happy, I promise you, you will not be happy. Awesome, Dan. You spent good times with your dad and Dom. Hey, Fish Hunt Trapper Pete. Willow, hey. You high five all the leaves, Will. But I want to try and get all this information out there. Uh, hey, DL King. Uh, I do some other fishing, guys. I'm getting back into the crappie fishing. I've never really used jigs and stuff for crappie fishing, but watching Mark and Lyle and them tie their crappie jigs and stuff, I'm getting into it and trying to get to where I can catch these crappie and stuff on artificial baits instead of just live. Because like when the spawn's going and the catfish are down, you're going to have to do something to occupy your time. And we have striper, crappie, bluegill. I've got one place I go to, Cooking with Mike Chavez. Hey, Mike, welcome. Uh, it's a little farm pond, and it has got huge bluegill in it, and they're a lot of fun to catch. Uh, but I'm getting back into the crappie fishing and stuff as well. And hey, Mike Costello. So there may be times we do not just cat fishing. You'll see me on my lives fishing for something else. Uh, where did that go? Jeremy. Ooh, hold on. I got to scroll back up. Something about needing pointers on the jigs. Need any pointers on the crappie jigs? Just holler at me. Yeah, Jeremy. I'm very new to it. I'm just getting into using jigs instead of live bait, and I use a 12-foot B&M jigging pole, and I've got a little Abu Garcia Cardinal spinning reel on it. And to me, the biggest thing is the sensitivity uh, with your walleye, your crappie, bluegill. A lot of them, uh, it's it's kind of a light tick sometimes. They don't hit hard, so I've kind of got to learn that. to be more sensitive on the field. It's definitely a learning process. Uh, I was watching Eric Massey jig company tying jigs today, and got lucky enough. I won some of his jigs that I'm going to try out. I'm excited to try them out. Uh, I know Mark and Lyle do the jig tying. Uh, I love watching them. Got uh, Chad and James Dockery in there. Uh, the YouTube the YouTube community is definitely growing, and there is so much information on YouTube now that I can watch. Hey, Mike Irvin, uh, I don't even watch cable TV anymore. Uh, I can usually find something on YouTube. Definitely a complete different body. Yes, it is, Jeremy, and with crappie fishing and stuff, uh, color patterns make a lot of difference. So it's learning this stuff. I've got a lot of learning to do there. What colors work at different times, why they prefer certain colors over others. Uh, Down here, uh, the bass, the crappie, and the bluegill have all been hitting the same colors. They will either hit like the black and yellow, or they will hit the white. You can take a white grub, curly Q, and catch them. And the beetle spins, little small spinners or rooster tails are working really good in this area. Uh, but if you're going to be a successful catfisherman, guys, you need to learn some of this panfish because a lot of your bluegill, your sunfish, stuff like that, it's bait. And the more successful you can be at catching bait, the more time you're going to get to spend catfishing. Uh, it helps a lot. Just so black and chartreuse. Uh, yeah, black and yellow work good here. The white works good. Uh, I've seen a lot of people using blue and black jigs, catching them. I'm not sure what all the color coordination has to do. You got different colored jig heads with different color tails. Uh, the black and white, the red and white, the yellow and orange. Uh, There's so many different color combinations. I haven't put all that back together. You have a music playlist just for fishing music, so that way your boss knows. That's why I made my catfishing with no bait video. Yeah, Mike Costello, I seen that when you went, didn't have any bait. And hey, Randall, that really puts it into perspective. Because as a catfisherman, your number one goal is bait. If you can't catch bait, you're not fishing. There's lots of times I may go out and want to go fishing in between the storms and stuff we had. But if I can't catch bait, I'm not able to fish. So, uh, bait is a very key ingredient in fishing. Uh, Throw what you have confidence in. Jeremy, with me just beginning, I don't have confidence in anything, not even myself. I'm learning. So, I'm learning this as I go and picking up new stuff. Uh, I did notice they would hit the white, but when I switched to like the orange and yellow head, they didn't hit it as much. Uh, I have 20 bait holes, and I don't think that's enough. No, Brandon, we have a little creek here that gets up, and it's good for bluegill, but it drains real quick. So you've got to be there at the right time and catch your bluegill, and you may only get to catch bluegill out of it for a week. Well, then I'm out here at these lakes trying to catch bluegill, and they're kind of scarce and hard to come by. Uh, the pond I mentioned, I can go catch bluegill at, but they're all way too big for bait. These fish, these bluegill are bigger than my palms and my hands. They're huge. They're an inch and a half across the back, and I don't want to kill that bluegill for bait. I'd rather have the smaller bluegill. Hey, Mario. Uh, but that stuff we'll try. Uh, Worst case scenario, when I can't get bait, I'll have to try and pick up some perch or some goldfish or something like that at one of the bait stores. Hey, 2.0. Yeah, I'm kind of dark. This is pretty natural for me, though. My wife hates me. She's redhead, white girl, and I'm kind of naturally dark. Hot dogs, worms, and anchovies. Well, I know there's lots of stuff out there that tried. I've tried the chicken. I've never had luck on it. I may try it again. Uh, I really want to try the carp because, like Fishing Magician has, DC Metro, Baltimore Angler, DMV, they've all used it and they've all caught it. And I've never been a carp fisherman. Usually, when I catch carp, it's on accident. I have been trying for the last 2 to 3 weeks straight to catch a carp. And we see them in big old schools here. There may be 30 to 40 in one school, and they'll be pounding the bank and stuff. And I can't get them suckers to bite. I've tried night crawlers, I've tried corn, and now that I want to catch a carp, man, I can't do it. The only time I've ever caught them is on accident, and that's usually on night crawler. And but I went through and I watched Haz's video on how he prepares his carp, and I'm wanting to get a carp so I can try it. And hey, Reese, how are you doing? Yeah, Mark. Here they're in them big schools. You can cast right in the middle of them, and they'll just swim around your bobber and stuff, and they don't even pay it any attention. Is that what it is, Nick? If they're on top, they won't hit because they are on top. They're just cruising the surface, and there's big schools of them. I didn't know they were spawning. I didn't know what they were doing. Uh, yeah, Mike, I have catfish and carp on there. Uh, I've tried different things. Uh, I get frustrated because if I didn't want to catch a carp, you probably couldn't beat them off the hook. But now that I want to catch a carp, I can't get them to bite. Uh, Kind of like when you're turkey hunting, there's deer all over, and when you're deer hunting, there's turkey everywhere. I don't know why it works out that way, but it does. Uh, but my wife's dog is barking at me. Uh, but I definitely want to get things started, guys. And like I say, I'll get this talk show on Wednesday kicked off as soon as possible and get some guests lined up. So I will be contacting some of these guys and trying to get guests in and trying to get some information shared out there for all the bank fishermen. Uh, I know there's not a whole lot of information on bank fishing. So I want to try and remedy that and kind of help a lot of the other guys get some exposure. There's a lot of smaller channels, get them to help and get them growing and share a lot of knowledge. Fins and Fowls, uh, he fishes one of the lakes that I fish, and I have a lot of knowledge of that lake, and he's trying to learn it. So I want to get with Fins and Fowls and spend some time with him and take him out and show him some of the hot spots, uh, the rock points where there's big rocks, the stumps, where the flatheads and stuff love to hang out, and get him on some fish. Hey, Texas Tiger, welcome. Uh, I don't mind sharing this information. I get a big kick out of seeing someone else catch a fish, and if I can help put them on a big fish, uh, man, that makes my day. Later, Reese. Good night. But a couple pieces of bread, add water. Stick through your finger. It's ready. Yeah, fish hunt, trap, repeat. I've seen people even just use regular bread. Uh, I know Has Life and them, they make a pack bait and use it for carp. There's different carp bait companies out there. Uh, Carp are getting to where they're a targeted species, and it's growing. Yeah, Will. Them guys were definitely hard at it today. You're going to try and get TX Tiger on video this year? That'll be cool, Nick. Uh, I'm looking forward to getting out and getting to fish with some other people. And I know Johnny JNS, he fishes up north of me here in Oklahoma, fishes Kerr, and I'd like to get with him sometime and kind of get things going. And I love meeting new people. I love fishing with new people. Uh, you can always learn something from other people, guys. Uh, don't be afraid to try new things. Uh, don't be a know-it-all. Take time, listen to people. You'd be surprised what you can learn from information people will share freely if you'll just sit and listen. Uh, Mark, where y'all were fishing today, catching them cats, you had to wade out in that mud and stuff. Man, my props to y'all because I don't think I'd have went through all that. I'd have found me a easier spot to fish. Yeah, Brandon, you can't be closed minded. Uh, and guys, like I said earlier, there is no magic bait. There is no magic recipe. It's not always going to work. You have to be willing to try different things. Uh, Guys, if y'all see Uncle Lou in here, Lee Reed, check out Uncle Lou's tackle. Uh, he has got some awesome hooks, and I get my pencil, my cigar floats and stuff from him, my peg floats. Uh, Great company. He's a great guy. Uh, let's help support Uncle Lou because he supports everyone in the catfish community. And I got some of his 9 and his 10 odd hooks, and them 10 odd hooks are awesome for live bait and bluegill. They're wide gap, and I've had great success with them. And even that 10 odd hook, I was hooking them 4 foot gar with them. I hooked them 5 and 6 pound blues with them today. I had no problem. So, any of my moderators in here, if y'all have Uncle Lou's Facebook page, uh, drop it for them. Uncle Lou has great products. See, that stuff I learned too, watching the fishing magician and them, uh, fishing on the Potomac, uh, the tide. The I don't have tide that affects the waters where I fish, but watching these guys on low tide and high tide, and how much that water raises and falls, uh, it can have a tremendous effect on your fishing. Uh, Not just access to the hole you want to fish, but water depth, tide going in and out, uh, current, anything like that fixes it. Nick, I don't know if it'll let me set you as a moderator right now. I may have to go back later and set you as a moderator, Nick. I don't know. I don't know how to do it while I'm on the stream. Uh, I know there's a way you can do it. I've seen people do it. But guys, I just wanted to get on here and share this information with y'all, kind of let y'all know uh, what I have planned for the future with the talk show and stuff for the channel. And I'll go through and I'll add some more mods. And this way, I'll just use my channel, same channel to do it. And the mods that I've already got on there will be on there. And I don't want to have like 500 uh, mods, but Nick, I will definitely go and try and figure out how to add you as a moderator because I don't know how to do it while I'm live. I know when I go back and watch, uh, it will let me add moderators. Like I say, guys, I'm just figuring this stuff out. So it took me a long time to figure out even how to share links, but I finally got that down. Yeah, tidal rivers are very different from the lakes and reservoirs that I fish. Uh, a lot of the rivers are more dangerous. Uh, you have a lot of current, which is something I don't deal with. I don't have to fight the current here. Uh, you know, a lot of these guys are throwing 12 and 16 ounces of weight, and it's not holding bottom. And in these lakes and stuff, man, I can throw 4 ounces and it's not going anywhere. Uh, Later, Troy. Thanks for stopping in. Uh, there's different things and different ways you can learn. Uh, I do plan to go out and fish some of these big rivers. Uh, I love uh, the Tennessee River. Creole's not that far from me in Louisiana. I would love to go down there and fish with Creole. And I watch and try and gain information on these. Uh, if you're not used to these bodies of water and these rivers, guys, you just don't want to jump out there with your boat and stuff, or even bank fishing. Like me, uh, if I take a 4 ounce weight out to these rivers where they're fishing, there's no way I'm gonna get it to hold the bottom. P City, yeah. Uh, you use a minimum of 8 ounces, Mike Chavez. See, I don't need anything that big. I go up to 8 ounces, but the only time I have to use that is when the creeks are flooded and raging. And I only do that because the fish out of the Red River will start coming up the Cache Creeks. And I can go out there and fish the creeks and catch your big blues and your big flatheads. When the creeks flood around here, uh, your chances of catching a flathead go up 70%. You can go down there on these creeks, find a place with access, and fish them when the creek fish are coming up to spawn. And man, you can get on the flathead and the big blues. Randall, you use 2 ounces. It all depends on your rod and what you're using, guys. Uh, I've got an ugly stick medium action. I use a 3 ounce on, and it's plenty to hold bottom, and I can get tension on the rod tip. Now on my heavier rods, my medium heavy actions, I use a 4 ounce on them so I can put tension on the line and helps me keep a tight line because I like to have a tight line and I like to let the fish load the rod tip up. And so different weights do different things. There are times, guys, when the fish are finicky to where if they feel any resistance on that line, they'll drop the bait. And sometimes when they do that, if you don't have a leader line, I'll feed them some slack. And good night, Chrissy. Uh, I'll give them 18 inches of slack to run. And that way, by the time they feel that tension, they've already ran and hit the end of that, and it will set the hook. So, but all right, guys. Like I said, I'm going to get off of here, and hopefully, really soon, Wednesday night, I'll start doing a live talk show, and we'll start getting people in here and get more information shared out. Start sharing more channels out, and get everyone going. We'll go over different tackle, what we're using, different rigs, knots, hooks, sinkers, everything like that, and try and go over basically everything and get the information shared out there. Uh, we'll answer questions and help people, and so don't be afraid to ask, and we'll try and do our best. Uh, Thank everyone for stopping by. I appreciate y'all, and we will catch y'all on the next one. Love y'all, and everyone be safe.